Triumph Property Management Presence. Rules for tenants: protect yourself, landlords. If you are new to the property management industry, you should learn about certain policies that landlords should usually set and why. By setting these policies, you will be able to avoid business failure and troublesome disputes with the renters. You can set the rules and the policies by including them in the lease. Landlords' priority is always protecting their main asset and the source of income, the property, or properties. Setting the following rules will give you the upper hand to take legal action if necessary and set accurate expectations for your tenants. Rule 1. Always pay rent on time. If you ask any experienced property investor what their biggest concern with the business is, they will say it's rent payments. You might allow them to pay the rent late once or twice, however, often tenants tend to get used to paying rent late or not at all. As a landlord and a business person, you must be prepared to face this loss. Although it's most likely that your state law protects your right to receive payment in exchange for allowance on your property, it's best to include the rent payment terms in your lease. Put down the important details such as the due date of rent payments and the allowed extension of that time frame. Rule 2. Maintenance. Bad tenants might cause many avoidable damages to your property. You must remember that the law obliges you to fix most of the maintenance issues that arise on the rental. To restrain your tenants from causing avoidable maintenance issues, you should include maintaining the conditions of the property in the lease. This rule is essential to keep the perfect shape of the exterior if you have a lawn that needs to be cared for, as well as an interior that should be kept clean. Rule 3. Ownership of the assets. In case you rent a fully furnished property to the tenants, you should protect your ownership of the items. You must put this term in the lease if you don't want these possessions to be sold one day without your consent. Moreover, in some instances, the tenants tend to take some of the valuable items with them when they move out. Although this is unlikely to happen, the risk is still there. Rule 4. Subletting rental units. One of the common issues that property owners face is their tenants renting out the property to guests daily or weekly. You might consent to such actions, however, if you don't, it's best to keep the restriction in the lease. Depending on your area, it's most likely that the law forbids the tenants to sublet rented units, but you can never be too safe. Moreover, renting the property to guests daily and in secret might cause many misunderstandings and problems. Daily guests could damage the property in many ways and the tenant might be unable to hold them responsible for their actions due to the violation of rules on their part. Therefore, remember to strictly forbid subletting your rental property. Rule 5. A landlord's right to entry. The property is lawfully yours, but it doesn't mean that you can enter whenever you want to when you rent it out to the tenants. However, there are instances of emergency situations. You might also be working with a regional property manager who might often take your place for checkups and in cases of emergencies. Therefore, it would be wise to set the rule where you state that you or your property manager are allowed to enter the property without notice in case of emergency. Final thoughts. Setting rules and policies might seem unnecessary as the law protects your rights in most aspects of landlord-tenant relationships. However, it's better to be safe than sorry. In some instances, the law doesn't cover every area or is very unclear. Therefore, you need to set distinctions and specifications.